Hey guys, Lathander here. I'm going to be taking a few minutes to talk about Battlefield 3's Operation Metro, and why it baffles me as to the dev team's decision to release this map in the state that it's in. Everything I'm about to say is completely opinion and should be taken as such. Now, I'm sure there are many of you out there that absolutely love this map. I'm sure there are those of you who are like myself and absolutely hate this map. Now, don't get me wrong, the map can be a lot of fun. There's a lot of points to be had and a lot of kills to be gained, but in most cases, it's a surefire win for anyone on the Russian team and no fun at all for the guys on the US team. There are two issues with Operation Metro, the first of which is objective balance. Now, what do I mean when I say objective balance? Well, if you watch what's going on, you'll notice that I've been sprinting the whole way from spawn to our first cap point, where I mistakenly head up the first escalator instead of continuing on below to the second escalator. If you watch the bottom right, however, you'll see that my squad mate, who didn't make that mistake, is only a couple of extra steps ahead of me. As we approach the contested cap point, it becomes apparent that the Russian team has beaten us there by a large margin, since they've got a three-quarter cap and are fairly defensively set up already. Now, when I say objective balance, I'm referring to the balance between either side's spawn point and the map's capture points. Typically, when developing a capture the flag or capture and hold style map, developers will create the map with an even traveling distance between each team's respective spawn points and their gimme point. They will then, again, have an even traveling distance between that gimme point and the contested cap. Designing a map in this style means that both teams have equal opportunity to reach the contested point and lay claim to it, or stop the enemy team's attempt to lay claim to it. The best example that I can think of, and forgive me for bringing WoW into this, is Arathi Basin. Back before I quit WoW, Arathi Basin was easily my favorite PvP warzone. This map is fairly well balanced in my opinion, as there is an equal travel distance between Alliance and Horde spawns and the three contested points, the Smithy, Lumberyard, and Quarry. If you start out from your spawn and run an optimal route to any of these points, and any of your enemy does the exact same thing, you'll be arriving at roughly the same time. This is a very important aspect to this style of map. The reason this aspect is so pivotal has to do with the mechanics around the capture points themselves. Holding a capture point increases the ticket loss of the other team, deprives them of a potential spawn point, and at the same time provides a spawn point for your team. This is huge. On Operation Metro, there are two main exits from the subway network, along with a couple smaller stairwells that the US team can use. Both of these main paths funnel up a set of escalators into the subway station, allowing the US team the ability to either attack Point B head-on, or attempt to circle around behind. One would think this would be an ideal design, but ultimately it's not. There are two issues with this design choice. First, the escalators is some of the biggest choke points on the map, with the stairwells narrow and easily covered. And second, in all cases, it has the US team on the low ground. As I would hope you all know, since I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, it's far easier to defend or assault an area when you have the high ground. Not only can you see the enemy coming before they can see you, but you have an easier time aiming with explosives since you have ground to aim at, allowing for splash damage. The problem with choke points in Battlefield 3 has a lot to do with support class ammo boxes. This ammo box is essentially a mobile supply of unlimited explosives ammo, with almost no cooldown. What this means is endless rockets and grenades. When you have the high ground, a choke point, and endless explosives, it becomes infinitely simpler to defend. Simply lob and or fire a constant stream into the choke point, and laugh as you rack up kills. When you have a 16 vs 16 scenario, it makes for a lot of explosions. This leads us into the second issue with Operation Metro. The US spawn area, being two sections of tunnel full of debris, are one big long choke point. If the US team loses C and gets pushed back to their spawn point, it is next to impossible to stage a comeback for the simple fact that the aforementioned choke points haven't disappeared, but relocated to the US team's front door. I can't recall how many times I've seen the US team camped at their spawn, unable to advance because they can only move one direction, forward. That is not to say that it can't go the other way, of course. I've seen games where the US team has completely steamrolled the Russian team, pushing them back to their base, camping them in the apartments with sniper rifles. Since there's nothing but open ground with absolutely no cover directly in front of the Russian spawn. But that scenario is far less common because the US team starts the game with a handicap. Well, that pretty much does it for my rant regarding Operation Metro. If you're looking for a balanced map to have fun on, this one probably is not for you, unless you're playing on a smaller server with maybe 8 people, 4 to a team, or 12 people with 6 to a team. If, however, you're looking for a good map to get a lot of points and level your assault engineer or support classes, well, look no farther. If there's one thing massive choke points are good for, it's getting kills with the Maw, and supplying ammo for the Maw users. And if there's one thing having an enemy team shoveling infinite grenades and Maw rockets down your team's throat is good for, it's team heal and revive points. So just let those boxes and rockets fly. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments section below. While you're at it, rate and subscribe if you're so inclined. Until next time, Lathander out.